Create your racetrack gameplay. Navigate the forest racetrack. Unleash your racing passion. Surpass your opponents. Become the king of speed. Unlimited speed. Ignite your passion for speed. Play WoW now.
Welcome everybody to the PUBG Mobile Global Championships group stage.
The exciting matches of the Gauntlet are over, and we have 80 teams already in the grand finals. If you missed the past few days, you missed a good amount of PUBG Mobile action, but don't worry, luckily for you, there's more on the way. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the PUBG Mobile Global Championship Group Green. I'm your stage host, the 7WG. We will be sending 3 more teams to the grand finals, 8 teams to last chance, and 5 teams will be going home. The pressure is on, and there is no room for mistakes because this is what many consider to be the group of death.
That's right, the group of death has begun. The gauntlet is over. Group stage is here. I'm your host, Todd Jukes, here with Maxman and Neptura. How'd you guys enjoy your day off? Max, I'm starting with you.
I had a good little day off here. So, I was going to say 7 because, you know, he's the stage host. Sorry, I'm all confused. Same here. No, very, very fun day off. I think that the teams in particular needed it, Hot Jukes, because, oh my God, that was a stressful Gauntlet stage. But now we're in the group stage, and of course, no more room for mistakes because you can be in the bottom 5, and that means you're fully out of this year's PMGC, and that's not a good way to go out, Hot Jukes. You don't want to go that path.
No, not at all. This is the schedule that we have going, guys. So the Gauntlet is over. We got a few teams from the Gauntlet stage, 4 exactly, coming on into here, and a bunch of teams that have just been waiting in the shadows, Neptura. So we're about to get started right here. You can see the format. Why don't you break that down for us?
The format is as follows, guys. Group stage coming on in. We've got rounds
That's right. We're going to be eliminating 5 teams exactly. So bottom 5 is not where you want to be because we got a $3 million prize pool on the line here. That's a lot of cheddar here, Max, man. And we got the good old-fashioned points to get them.
A lot of cheddar, a lot of Gouda, a lot of cheese to win this time around PMGC. I don't know why we went with the cheese fun there, but okay, we'll go with it. Now, looking at some of our participating teams, and you know what? It is time. I'm going to mention it. Inner Circle. They're finally here. They're ready to play here on the Battlegrounds. Very excited to see how they're going to perform. But of course, Neptura, looking at Inner Circle, this is off the back globally of a great presence back in PMWC earlier on this year. I wonder, are they going to bring that same level of heat they brought earlier this year? If they do so, I'm very excited to see how Inner Circle are going to perform these matches.
Same here. I'm really, really excited. I always love to play. I always how are they going to yeah, as well. I mean, not to mention
Oh yeah, they do. And of course, you know, you mentioned it, D+. These are our previous year's PMGC champions, Max, man. I know you've been looking at this team all year long. What are the expectations for this squad going into this PMGC?
Top 3. Really, Hot Jukes, if you don't expect D+ to be in top 3 currently as the current reigning champions of PMGC, I feel like you haven't been paying attention. They've had some rough performances recently. DNIC, I think they got a 6th place over there, and then but otherwise this year overall has been extremely consistent for the side of D+ here, so very happy with it. And top 3 is the bare minimum here we can expect from this team.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the teams from Group Green. Zhuzhou Tianba from China. Team Secret from Vietnam. C. Globin from Mexico. From Brazil, Loops Esport. PS team from Iraq. Representing Central Asia, GOAT team. Aigu Orangutan from India. From Turkey, Papara Supermassive. From the USA, Wolves Esports. The pride of Pakistan, Inner Circle. Genji Esports from Saudi Arabia. From South Korea, D Plus Kia. Reject from Japan. From Indonesia, Alter Ego Aries. Alpha Gaming from Mongolia. And Team Vulcans from the EU. Here are the teams from Group Green. Every match counts, with spots in the grand finals on the line. An elimination lurking around the corners. Who will rise when it matters the most, and who will crumble under the pressure? Play day one of the 2025 PUBG Mobile Global Championship Group Green begin.
What a stacked list of players and teams. You know, one thing I did notice, though, on that intro there, right, was looking at Inner Circle. I only saw 3 players walking out, Max, man. What do you think that could be?
I'm telling you, Falk is definitely not docketing. He's not like 2 million miles away from his team. Unfortunately, I heard he's not feeling well, and I do hope he's going to be able to feel better at some point. But I do wonder, is that going to be them playing as a 3-man here because they don't have a sub? That is going to hurt them significantly, Hot Jukes. Getting into a stacked lobby like this for Group Green that we called the Group of Death, it's definitely not going to bode well.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I mean, this is going to be an absolute crazy start here. You know, speaking of crazy starts, a team that hasn't had the best start year-round, Neptura, it's got to be the Falcons. I know they had a little bit of a rough year. What do you think about them coming in here into Group Green? Yeah.
Not really, just
I agree.
No relax. There was no relaxation there with them. Hopefully they learned from that and kind of go, hey, we just want to play the way that we play now.
Well, you know, that's really good to hear from them. You know, one team that is here that I definitely got to talk about is the Wolves, Max, man, right? This team in particular, right? They now have to reach top 3 in order to get into the next stage, or at least into the grand finals, Max. How do you think their chances are here? Like, how important is day 1 for them?
I do want to say, by the way, it wouldn't be a proper desk segment, right, without Hot Jukes mentioning Wolves. You know, it feels very on brand. Thank you, Hot Jukes. We've reached our quota for the day. But no, I think Wolves, of course, are going to take this extremely seriously. I kind of liked, actually, Hot Jukes, how desperate Wolves were in that last game on Miramar. They were fighting Xavier, and if they won that fight versus Xavier, maybe they overtake that position in top 7 and make it straight to the grand finals. I like that strong attempt at the end of that respective stage to try and qualify. So I think they're going to be hungrier than ever before. So Wolves, I think there's a high likelihood we could see them be in top 3. It's all dependent on this first day. Can they have a great opening day? And if they do so, I think that, again, top 3 is in the cards for these guys.
Yeah, I think if they would have also got a point in Aaron Gale on the last day, that would have been real nice as well. You know, so hopefully they definitely did some soul searching, right, on their day off and are ready for this stage. It's going to be a tough one, though. You know, every time you got to deal with some new squads, there's new drop location, different rotational timing. That's going to come into play big time here, Max. So we're going to go into Rondo off the rip. And one thing that we've definitely noticed with this big change with Sandhawk leaving us is just how important Rondo has been. It's like the place to soak up those elimination points for sure. One thing is that we may have a few hot drops. I know we could have 3 teams going into that Neox factory. If you want to break it down real quick for us.
I mean, Neox factory, we might have Ultra Ego, Falcons, and Inner Circle here clashing. And that's going to be an interesting one because, of course, Ultra Ego, I'm looking in particular, representing Indonesia. You don't have BTR, you're going to have Ultra Ego. Would be great to see them make into the grand finals. But Test Track, Neox Factory. As you know, Podrix is pretty big, but it can't really host 3 teams. So if it does end up being a hot drop over there, I think we're going to have some very early bloodbaths happening over there. But I do know from Seven, who told us Falak is playing. So at least if they do take the early fight here, Inner Circle will have the full squad. They'll be ready to fight in the first minute or two of this game.
All right, well, I'm also going to keep my eye on Stadium. I know D Plus and OG are going to be there. Let's get game number 1 started and send it on over to Blank and John Allen and get this going.
All right, let's head into it. Rondo back in with the recall beacons. Blank group green here, and the stakes are higher. No 7th place bubble to be seen. We're looking to the top 3 now.
It is a tough approach for a lot of squads going forward, John. I mean, top 3 isn't easy. I mean, top 7 was already quite tough for a fair few teams. Some teams always just making it in those final moments of the gauntlet. But top 3, yeah, it's a rough margin to make. But we are also introducing a goodbye limits, right? You do not want to be towards the bottom of the lobby, because now it does actually matter. It does matter again. You will be going home after that, so we're starting to cut down on the competition before we head over towards the grand finals in Thailand.
Absolutely. 5 teams going home already. 5 more as well later this week. Oh, it's going to be nasty. Or rather next week, I suppose. The weeks all sort of blur into one, because we do just keep going here. And looking out for those hot drops on Rondo, Blank, that is going to be interesting to see which teams are going to go for that hotter approach, that more elimination-heavy approach early on in these matches. And it looks like we may have a few. I'm looking at Reject specifically. I can see Apollo there all the way down towards Rinjian. The rest of them, they're sat on top. And you can see we're on board with them as well, all the way up to the north.
You got to play it setting out wide as per usual. Play the 3-1 split. Get the recall beacon off early if you do lose that engagement. You get a south shift on the circle. It's quite nice in Rondo so far. We had that horrible circle right at the beginning of the tournament over towards the water, but since then we've practically had a very, very different circle every single time that we've seen Rondo, which is great to see. This time we're down towards Chuan. We have Falcons here on our screens. A team that has had a bit of a tumultuous pass so far, but I see moving in immediately to get the first knock of Group Green.
Inner Circle looking to try and take the fight, take the win there. It's like Falcons not having a good time, though. That is unfortunate. Just Redox on the inside there. Do have an off angle across the way, and yeah, and immediately looking for the Falcons to just get out of there, get away. Novalo will be moving out. I don't think that they have too many more players to play around with. I believe that the graphic on the right-hand side hasn't fully updated on the Falcons player count, because there's certainly a few of them who have gone down. Redox, I mean, he's trying to get out of there, trying to get around the corners, maybe find a player. IQ steps out, though. That's straight out there. Good find. That's a couple of points added to eliminations for Inner Circle.
Yeah, and I think this is the thing. For Inner Circle, it is a massively promising team. I think they have a huge amount of fans on board as well. And rightly so, because they're a very, very strong squad when it comes down to it. Falak, who has continued to be one of the most promising players of the year so far, isn't feeling at his greatest today outside the game, but in game he's still going to be playing on. Luckily, you've got the likes of IQ, T24, Noki, all significantly strong players, so this team doesn't rely on just the one. It's great to see. OG starting things off over towards Reject, getting an initial knock.
Things under control. Like OG got themselves in trouble. Oh dear. Is this the last player from Falcons? I think it might be. APG looking to try and hunt them down. Wait a minute. Did they get the recalls? They must have done, because Koa went down earlier. The question is, where are the rest of them? Are they all in the same place? Are they all going to get run down? Or are they going to have to go for a second recall scrap?
Man. Okay, Kamikaze with some clean shots over towards Dog, knocks him out of the vehicle. 3 guys in one isn't always the best idea. IPG won't stand for that, though, as they send over towards Papa Supermassive. Luckily, Kamikaze's on a gross off angle and will find the double to start this off. Goodness me, Papa Supermassive. They had an insane group stage for themselves. They faltered over in their finals, but still looking mighty strong.
Absolutely, it's good to see. A little bit of power coming through, because at the moment, the Falcons are really representing Europe super strongly. Now Valo down. And that is brilliant news for Inner Circle. They are running rings around the Falcons. A brilliant start to our team with the boys on board. Falak, IQ, T24 on the rooftops. Doing so much for them, keeping things under control near Neox Factory. We thought there might be a couple of hot drops going on, Blank. It seems like that definitely was the case.
Yeah, don't know how Falcons aren't dead, by the way. They've still got one player, but I swear they've taken about 7 elims just in that team alone. It's fairly amusing. But plodding onwards, ever onwards for the squad. In a nice central position right now for APG. OG came off from a good fight between them and Reject, but Reject were able to reset, reevaluate, get 4 players back up again with those recall beacons, but it's 2 elims for OG. Sits them in 3rd place currently.
It's good news, but of course it's 3 points in 1st place right now. That will change by the end of it. It's guaranteed that someone will get more than 3 points in this match. Chicken dinner worth more than that, of course. 10 points. Tiamba. Team we haven't seen so far. Definitely new entrant here. Time, but crashing on the north side still. Oh, it's going to be Loops. Crack at Supermassive. Nico is repositioned. This should be Resable, but look at the off angles. Kamikaze is doing so much work for Papa Supermassive right now. He's the reason they've got 3 points, and he's keeping his team safe as well. They've got to be so grateful that he's on side and on form today, it seems.
Yeah, this is always the big point for Papa Supermassive, is the response time from the rest of the squad is so slick. I think that it's something that you've got to be very aware of when playing against that team, is if you find one knock, you're very prepared to immediately duck into cover, because they're so quick to accurately pinpoint where you are and what angles you're playing. So I think that's where Papa Supermassive definitely finds their strengths, is that you can never really catch that team off guard for some reason.
It's the hopefully superpower moving forwards for Papa Supermassive. See if they can keep that one going, though, because I think as time goes on, these teams will start to figure out their movements, figure out their holds, maybe identify weak points in that armor that they can try and exploit. So we'll see if that continues. Of course, it is still just match 1, and we're only 7 minutes into it, Blank. So very much still an uncertain lobby at this stage. Teams are losing players, but these recalls can come through as well. So it's really not the end of the world at the moment. But they will start to shrink down those opportunities. The recall beacons disabling. They've still got a while left, Blank, but it's going to be just a little bit of a stressor, maybe, for teams as we move into stage 2, stage 3. That's where they get very, very few in the circle, in good positions to go for those recall beacons.
You got there in the end. That's what matters.
I did, yeah.
And I'm proud of it.
Yeah, it happens.
I think when you look at Loops, right, actually some pretty big names overall, which have been around for a long time. I quite like this Loops roster. Your Ratto boy, Victin, Rafina, Nielzada, a lot of players that played in amongst the rank and file of South Americas, but overall I think that they've all leveled up a lot over the years, and this is a team that I'm quite excited to see play on the big stage. APG still roaming. They got a nice central start, able to shove Papa Supermassive off from their position, but with this circle that shifts over towards Danqing, I think APG was very glad they got in vehicles when they did. They started rotating out towards the east anyway, so they're already getting a move on in with the migration, so they may as well have been just on the west side of the circle as it popped. So I think that's a little bit lucky from APG, where they just randomly start rotating off towards that eastern side, but it's definitely beneficial for their future.
It's going to work out for them for the time being. GS, we saw them a lot over in the Gauntlet. Maybe they'll have a chance here. Wizgod not quite able to connect for Orangutan. On their spray down, Orangutan currently playing on that southwest side. They do have a decent chunk of the ground in this circle, Blank, but is anyone going to try and take it from them? Are they going to have challenges? Is that split going to hold out from that south edge? Because you've got Reject moving in. You've got plenty of others. You've got Gen G as well out to the west side of them. Actually might take one another on. Reject spotted there. So they're definitely aware of each other's presence. But yeah, Orangutan's starting to open fire from that north side. The high ground on those buildings that they have, it's going to be difficult to move. Difficult to make it safe.
Yeah, I think for OG, especially on that final day, although they didn't make it into top 7, there was definitely a change of pace for them, in which case they're trying to take a lot more fights. And they were losing those fights, but I was glad they were doing it, because I think they've all realized now that that 6 to 7 point strategy isn't going to cut it when it comes to top 3. So they're getting ahead of the problem early, of trying to engage in more fights. And what's a better place to do that other than the Gauntlet against some of the best 4v4 squads in the world? I still think they have potential in them. And genuinely, this is the best. I think it's the best Indian team we've seen in a while. I think that there has been times in the past where India has played and they've given it their all, but this time it feels like OG actually does belong within the international format, which is great to see. But yeah, I think they do realize they need a little bit more aggression, and I think the change happened when Kara chased them down as a 2-man, and they were leaving as the 4, and they lost to the 2. I think at that point they probably looked back on that and was like, yeah, that can't happen again.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at what is needed, you said they're not looking at the 6 or 7s. It does push up. I mean, if you look at what happened in the Gauntlet stage with 16 teams, third place was 141 points, which puts you at around a 7.8 average. So if you're getting 8 points a game, that's where you need to be sat. And bumping yourself up by a single point average is actually a very difficult task to be on the cards for you. So we'll see what our teams can do here. Circle just about to shut down. That's not going to be nice. On the south side, there is a recall beacon right next to it, but it's going to be very, very much out of reach if you can't even get past them. Rejects holding out in the building. The nades, the Molotovs flying. Oh, there's a little bit of an answer here. Maybe there's a chance as the Molotovs start to burn down. Rejects actually now down to 2. The hold on the inside may be good, but Oligo now has to stand up, the last player alive for the team, and he is now into a 1 versus 1. This is dangerous. Reject looked like they had it in hand, but now it's all topsy-turvy. Apollo with the nade cooking around the side. And the nade does not find its mark, steps out wide, and Rejects swept aside. A brilliant result for them. The Japanese squad will not make it further in Rondo.
I mean, that was a big test for Apollo. Practically all the big names on the team had gone down at that point, and not being able to finish up the job there. I think there's a lot of pressure on him in that scenario. Still, Coligo is a incredibly good player, has been for many, many years. So, kind of understandable he's able to hit the old swinging DBS shot. His alter ego, there is a lot of hope in this team, I would say, from Indonesia. I think that when I was looking through the player list, it's actually one of the teams that I looked at and was like, that's kind of a stacked roster. And again, I do think everyone talks about Rosemary on that squad, Krypton. I genuinely think their best player is Alva. A lot of people probably disagree with me on that fact, but I do think their best player is Alva. Overall, his off angle, scouting, the value brings to the team. I think it's more than what Rosemary brings. I think Rosemary is flashy. I don't think he's the best player on the squad.
Wow, okay. Well, we'll have to keep an eye on that to see if those flashy plays could run more points, or if Alva's bread and butter basics are going to be more important to the alter ego setup right now. Looks like Goat have moved in towards the south side of the compound that OG hold. OG still as 4 on a 2-2 split. You can see they've got the 2 players down there, AKOP and a Tanky on the low ground in the buildings, and then up top they've got their other 2, WizGod and of course Aru there, just finding the angles, trying to keep that one secure with APG to their north side. The hilltop looking fairly solid. Falcons trying to move in from the north side. The blue zone is upon them, and it is getting to be a little bit more than a tickle. They'll have to move a little bit faster, but there's not too many open spaces ahead of them. This wide flank may be needed to go to the west and challenge for a hilltop. It's dangerous on the approach here. A lot of open ground.
That being said, the fact the Falcons have 3 players is so impressive, no? I don't know how they've managed to do it. And they might just cut themselves a slice on this northeast side, which seems to be the case here, John. And they're just swinging straight through And might even get a central spot on the back of it.
No way. I don't think it's going to be super safe, though. You can see they have to hit down in the dip there, around that roadside. A lot of hills with oversight, but they have a building to play with, Blank. It might not be much, but it's home for the Falcons for the time being, and maybe until the end of their match here. 9Z, after winning against Reject, got that recall on the south side, and now they're careening on through. This is a challenge towards APG's position. They will have to fight someone in that area, whether it's APG or if it's DK up to the top.
9ZG will just send it through. APG's not really taking too many shots. They swing wide of them, outside of the angles. Sightline's not quite there, but Azul's actually able to pick Raze out of the vehicle.
Oh, the explosive arrow. Go on. Hit with the Legolas. Going to connect on that one, not just yet, but Reyes down on the outside against APG's firing squad. They have turned all their attention up north. I think there's shots coming in through from OG as well across the way. You can see that on the mini-map. Everybody wants a piece. The Wolves are crashing into D+ as well. In the meantime, they've pushed up from the south. They have to transition to the east. So the Wolves committing here. I mean, it's an interesting choice, but they want to clear out this threat first before moving out east. Nolbu repositioning far off to the north. Might need to get in on this fight and find a high angle. You can see he's moving up to the tree line. They know there's a threat. They know there's danger, and they need the vehicle to get out of there. Chips, watch your feet. Drops a nade under himself and needs to get out of there. Moving his angle off as Coop steps out wide.
D+ is pretty much the same squad that won over in 2024. Now looking to send it slightly further here. You have the lineup versus the Wolves.
What's that? Chenchi now. Ready in. I think the Wolves might not be long for it. Yeah, there's Sutton. Able to find Doran on the spray down. Nolbu steps out wide. A challenge. Isn't good for the first. But there's the little hop out. Swift with it. But there's backup. Osal there as well. The D+ have been falling in the meantime as Chenchi are just going to put a stop on this fight. Wolves not going to have a good time. Neither a D+. These recall beacons not available anymore to them. They do not have that option. Osal trying to stay alive for the South Korean squad. In the meantime, but the blue zone's there. He's running rings around them, but he just has to get out. There's no time. Needs to heal. What can he do? The blue zone's pushing. I don't think he's got anything to do here, as the Wolves might just be able to come out victorious.
Stage 4 was still able to get that first aid kit off. Tiamba of the distance taking shots over towards GS. Nade through the top window might be the play here. The bottom one though instead. Igors will move off to the side. Ball push out from him. Will pay off. Last grenade now for Osal versus Igor. Does it hit?
Oh, that's good.
Just on target. The blue zone will finish the job for him.
Sorry, yeah, he doesn't get the point on that one, though, with that blue zone final tick down. Alter Ego crashing in, trying to move in towards Team Secret, but they are being rebuffed immediately. Finally, an answer, an opener found for Alter Ego. Maybe they can move in on that north side. They're going to have to shift all the way south, and it is a deadly fight here. Papara Supermassive might chime in as third party. In fact, they do. They've already found a shot over towards Team Secret, and the rest of them go in. It's Alva. It's all up to him. Needs to pick his teammates up. He's definitely going to need to come up big and be the main component of the team for now, but Papara Supermassive want to slow them down. The nades are coming in, Blank. There's no time.
I think that Alva here is going to be a very, very difficult res, but if that first nade is terrible, like it is from Lost, then maybe he's able to get out of there. Snake's able to get off towards the side. Krypton likely to be flushed out at this point in time. Alva needs to provide some sort of assistance in this moment. Rosemary will hit the deck once again off for a stray grenade, and Kamikaze starts to push upwards. A smoke goes down to try and keep the team under wraps. Alva has a lot to do.
Rosemary's up, he's immediately back down. Alva still alive, just about on the last lifeline here as the flushes are coming through on his teammates. He steps up for a little bit more. Alva still playing around the smoke, seemingly ethereal to Papara Supermassive, but surely they find him. It is a little bit of a game of cat and mouse there, but finally the snap shut of the trap is good and Alva falls.
I think Lost was as confused as we were watching Alva slowly crawl his way out from the smoke. I think he just basically begging for mercy at that point. Yeah, rough, but still able to finish off Team Secret. Unfortunate for Alter Ego there. A lot of teams rotating in from that north side, able to get a lot done. But it will be now the boys from Papra Supermassive continuing to clear. Good nade from AKOP down towards Go. Kraken does go down for it. He's some very long nades as well.
Ooh, more shots, more shutdowns, but there's an answer. A little knock in response. Aru, though, able to dish it out and keep them pressed up against the blue zone blank, which is moving currently. It'll be very slow on their side. They're on a very short side of this circle, but it will put pressure on. And these reses needed to come through. Dangerous. Oh, I thought that nade might have found something, but the bounce just a little bit short. Still 2 players for Goat to try and stay alive. I don't know if they can even cross for this res. AKOP, last nade into the skies. It looks like it might be on target. Is it long enough, though? The bounce. Ooh, that deployable cover keeps them safe for just a moment longer.
I mean, some very, very good shots. I mean, WizGod on the other side taking down Tiamba. A-King's able to find the last player there from GS, but OG having quite a bit of control from this high ground. They are making quite a few enemies, though, in the process, and they will have to descend from here soon. But again, I think they've done enough in terms of casualties around the map that there's only a few sightlines looking over towards them, depending on how many smokes, what vehicles they have to work with. Could be quite a swift push down the hill.
Certainly could be. Chance to tumble on down. They have to choose it correctly. Falak under pressure now from the high ground as well. OG looking to try and make inroads now. Next circle comes through its south side a little bit, which means Papra Supermassive have to conclude their fight up here, but Loops have got a 1-for-1 trade right now on the knocks. Vitinho not finding that spray down over towards Nico as nades continue to tumble down. Rafinha has one more in the pocket, but they're not connecting, and the res has come through already. The nade just short of Kamikaze as he sidesteps it there. Papra Supermassive up to 10 eliminations now as they look for the flushes. Loops not able to find that weakness as Ratto Boy himself is down. He step up for the fight. A shotgun around the tree trunk, but it will be good for only one because Kamikaze's still hot. Flies on in, the backline's brilliant. Kamikaze brutal as ever.
Just unreal. Hey, I'm not going to say about purposes stuff. Kind of work, all right. 13 elims to start with. Very good. To be fair, this is like not even their best map. I think Rondo's kind of play it really slow. I think they're one of the few teams that doesn't go for the 3-1 strat. Either they ball man and they just play it slow towards the end game, and just much prefer to run like sweep third party tactic. I really like it. I think the 3-1 strategy worked well. Meantime, you're going to see AK open a line up here. It is free pickings here for OG in terms of elims across the way. Unfortunately, there's a shot that comes back, though.
There's plenty of off angles taking a look out this way, and they didn't have enough pressure to keep this spray going. They will, though, to slow Goats down. That may be looking for. Maybe not the elims just yet. I wonder if it's going to connect. We can go for these reses here. There's 3 outside. Force them into a bad position because it's only the one player, but he's still got a little bit of fight left in him, fortunately. 9Z across the way, keep OG safe.
Yeah, that's rough. There is some horrible angles on that high ground. It felt like Goat was winning that fight versus OG as well. The third party does come through, though, and will put an end to that. Papra Supermassive may have finally met their match here. They've been going from fight to fight. Now it's 9ZG. Kamikaze's down, as is Tron. Just lost last left alive here, and he's getting shot from multiple angles. Papra Supermassive will go down in 6th. With 13 elims, though, it's not a bad start to their day.
15 points total, but now 9Z have started to rack up these tallies, and so have Inner Circle. 12 elims found for 9Z, and in Inner Circle, they've got 10 already. They've been able to pick up so many of these points blank. It's really these 3 teams and nobody else that have been able to do the majority of the damage to the lobby so far. It's really beautiful to see. We'll see how much further they can go. At the moment, it looks like everybody else vying for those spots, but it's APG in the center, and they're going to be the team to get rid of, to displace on the 2-2 split.
This is where I do get concerned slightly for OG, and we've seen them falter on these moments of the games before, where I think it's this next step that they struggle with a little bit. It's like, where do they go from here? What do they want to do? They want to sweep down towards that south side, that north side, sorry, because right now, like, the options are limited, and they're hoping for a south shift. I think they need to think about what they can do next. I mean, here, for instance, with Doc playing off all the way into the distance, this is typically where you go for a Hail Mary. But I think they're just going to go for a top 3 off the back of this one.
OG playing as 3, need to press that ridge line. Inner circle might have to move first here. On a slightly faster side of the circle, they're all very, very close to it. It's only APG inside this one. 9Z. Oh, they have been spotted. It's APG to take the shots out that way. OG have angles as well. There's the flash coming through. That's for Aru, adding another point to the OG tally. Top denied that point there. Nicely found.
Yeah, I mean, I think they are just going to go for the top 3 off the back of it. They're going to send one downwards in Aru, but sight lines are clear there coming through from top. Won't quite find the knock, though. Nade's going to have to do the trick. He does find it with IQ from inner circle.
Ooh, looking for the nades over the top. That is not where you want to be putting the nade there, but Doc does go down. The Molotov is good for it. A little underarm, sure, but it's not going to be able to find that knock on the second player here for 9Z. Dashes across and actually gets to safety behind the shack. Doc is going out into the open. This is a Hail Mary if I ever saw one. He's just hoping nobody's looking. Because actually, Inner Circle has moved over to OG. Doc might actually be able to get there. No way is he going to be able to do it. As Inner Circle take on the forefront position for OG, but they only find the flush. They will not find a second. A tanky moving in, looking to try and take them down from the top rope, but no, the answer is good. The spray down is there. And APG, they do lose Doc finally, as he will not make that crawl. 9Z have descended. Goodness me, it's chaos on all fronts.
APG with a great nade of the top towards WizGod. So OG do get themselves the top 4 off the back one. Not quite the top 3 I think they were hoping for there from that position. But still a pretty decent start to the first game of the day. Inner Circle, though, as 4 players, been a little bit more silent and deadly this game. Now looking to take on APG with just the 3 there. Doc on a very aggressive angle, let's say, and an even more aggressive crawl. I think he's the only player that could make a crawl look aggressive. And Circle shifts over towards the west. So there is now a little bit of difficulty here for IC. Even though they've got the 4 players on board, they are pushing out into open ground. You've got 9ZG, you know where they are. You've got APG, who know where they are. And let's also just mention the fact that APG is in a top 3 scenario, by the way, which feels weird.
It is. Yeah, a little bit foreign, a little bit alien to us at the moment. But Inner Circle, I mean, you've got 13 elims on 9Z. You've got 14 elims coming through from Inner Circle. APG on a measly 6 right now. Comparatively weak for the moment. Small, little incremental approaches here. Looking at the utility, 12 smokes for APG.
I mean, again, it's just a testament to the strength of these players. The fact that Falak's playing and he's not feeling his best either, and still at this level is fairly incredible. And it's not like IC's had the most incredible path into this game either. They have just been brutalizing other players within this lobby. They sort of need to deal with the players from 9Z. But you do have APGs also watching these angles, so if they find anything, again, for IC, it's a question of vehicles and how they can make that wrap. Because I think at this point in time, like, this actually is not a bad wrap to make for yourself, but you've got to hope that APG misses these shots. And I think IC realizes that a lobby like this is very unlikely.
I mean, you hope that they realize it here. The zone next will close completely central blank, and it really doesn't favor anyone. I mean, the only team on an outside position at the moment are Inner Circle. So maybe that will help them out. APG, I mean, they need to get out of there as well, but they do have vehicles potentially stowed away in and amongst those buildings that they could hop into. The nades, they're starting to fly.
No way.
Going along, not quite on target. Ooh,
I see setting up craters. I think that's all they can do. I think this is a smart play, especially here on Rondo, the destructible terrain. That's what they're going to go for. Okay.
At the moment, though, that smoke train, those huge number of smokes, I think that's 10 smokes just then invested by APG to be able to stretch out wide, move that vehicle into one of those craters. A first knock onto Noki is good, but it's now 9Z who are eating the majority of lead right now as they crawl on forwards. They don't have anywhere to go. They are probably in the worst position. A downhill approach out the back of a building. It's a tough time. Noki is there, but you can't stand up. You just can't go for that res. And another nade over the top from APG. They have got 3 more remaining. One's already in the sky.
Just Falak and T24 now. Falak's going to make the big cross. T24 holds his angle. Now into a 2v2 here for APG versus IC.
Last nade loose for top. I think that's the last one that's in the pocket potentially. Or maybe they got one more. No, that is it. But it connects. And that's huge. It stops them from getting any more. But Falak with an answer. He's standing tall. And now top behind a tree trunk. Falak has the inside track here on the circle. Needs to stay strong for his team now more than ever. Top stands up. And the challenge is good. It is Falak to be able to fell the final beast in their way. APG will not get it. It is Inner Circle, the pride of Pakistan, standing strong.
Craters on the ground, and what a meteoric entrance from IC during this game. They had very limited options, but worked with what they had. The nades out front to get the craters to hold on for just a little while longer. Those nades were insane. And the fact that Falak's to finish it off there, I mean, imagine what this guy is like on his good days.
Absolutely insane. I could just be, what a close down on the day. Sorry, close down on the game, rather. A lot of flashy plays throughout the majority of that match as well, Black. Papa Supermassive doing big stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Papa Supermassive get themselves a bunch of Elim points. APG actually towards the top 3, which is quite nice to see, getting second place. Hopefully a little more of that, please. But in the meantime, I've got to hear what the guys on the desk had to say about that game.
Circle win the first match of Group Green, and they did it in style, Max. Hey, if Falak wasn't feeling too good going into today, I bet you he's feeling real good right now. That nade onto Zol and then wins the 1v1. I mean, what more could you ask for?
No illness can take down Falak. No team can take down Falak. He is the demon here from Pakistan. He dominates on the battleground, and he takes home the Rondo win as a solo at the end. So many eliminations. The nade were on point. The transitions were on point. And it's true, we have to say this is also off the back of winning the hot drop in Neox Factory versus Falcons. What is going on? This is the best start ever.
It's crazy.
I think you were muted there, Nitra. Good job.
Great.
You say that again. Just say how excited you are. Do it.
Yes.
I'm very excited. I love them. Yay! I don't know if you can hear me.
Thank you.
The Maxman impression, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. I think everybody's busting out a Maxman impression right now because they are so excited that you did not pick this team because they're doing so good, Max.
You know what? I'm never going to pick Inner Circle ever again. They have a start like this, a game like this. Beautiful. But the thing is, we're talking about Falak. Look at the stats across the board. T24, 4 eliminations, almost 1,000 damage. IQ, the IGL of the team, gets 5 elims, almost 600 damage done. And look at especially how much damage they took right now, Trua. Everyone took a beating, but they just kept coming back stronger and stronger and stronger. And especially those rotations on the eastern side, sweeping all of those eastern teams were a thing of absolute beauty this match. Loved it from start to finish.
It was so nice. And what I love as well is how methodical it was. They didn't rush around, go crazy, just get all the third parties. They really took their time with it. They paced themselves. They read the lobby. They understood who was where, what was going on. And they were really able to get the perfect timing based off that. So love how they've come in here. They're looking very relaxed. They look like, you know, they know what they're doing. They're not really thinking they're, you know, the newcomers anymore. They've been here and they've been doing so well all season. And now it's like, yeah, we're here, we're ready to own the lobby, and that's exactly what they did.
Oh, unbelievable start. You know, another team that had a great, actually, a super massive start, Max, man, right? Was Papara. Are you kidding me? Tons of eliminations here off the rip.
I'd even say a Papara super massive start right here coming out from Papara super massive plays. I mean, really good early game strategy, which is, you know, in Rondo you have these big stone pillars that you can go for. You can actually climb them with a buggy. They sent a scout up there and they had perfect oversight on everything and anything happening in the mid to late stages of these circles, which then you can see here, for example, this fight between Ultra Ego and Team Secret in the replays. They spotted that fight instantly. Hot was like, well, that's an easy, not only entry point in the circle, it's also 3 points. And they did take a bit of time to find Alva in that smoke for sure, but eventually they do find it, and they get themselves a massive double-digit elimination game. I was doubtful. I mean, if you're in our tier list, we put them in no way, Jose. They're not qualifying. But you know what? All the Turkish teams are dominating outside of Regnum, which is a bit weird.
Oh, man, that was absolutely crazy. As a matter of fact, I think Alva from Alter Ego is going to need some therapy after that one. He was just screaming in that smoke for just trying to survive, but he wasn't able to. But look at this score. Wow. I mean, Inner Circle, 28 points off the rip here, Neptura.
Oh my goodness me. I mean, I think that's definitely so far the biggest opening game of any day so far that we've had by far.
Oh, yeah.
28 points is insane. And we know Rondo is the map where you can put up those crazy numbers, right? But 18 eliminations, even for Rondo, is pretty huge. And you're looking at the gap, that's a 10-point gap between first and second place, right? 9Z, only 18 points. That's still an epic game, but just totally eclipsed by Inner Circle here. And then, of course, we're going to get four teams without any points whatsoever because I see they were just taking all of them.
Insert a 1 point sound cue right now. But actually, we were talking about Papara Superman. Well, are we surprised?
Yeah. Are we surprised?
Wait, guys, impression of like the biggest surprise, like just fake is like, whoa, no way. No way.
What?
Had no
way. What?
No,
Yeah.
It does make sense. But we were talking about Papara Supermassive Blaze. I also do want to highlight 9Z Globen. They also got, 13 eliminations this game. Very similar playstyle to Papara Supermassive Blade, but instead of sweeping the northeast, they were sweeping the northwest, using that high ground to their full potential to make sure they can clear that space and get a ton of eliminations in the process. But top, that's a ton of damage. And those nades in particular, Niptra, we saw onto Inner Circle, that could have almost won them the game, but unfortunately, as we saw, Falok was able to tank those nades so damn effectively.
Crazy work coming in from them. And I love when the end of a game comes to a nade off. Both those nades were equally good, and they were just trying to out-nade each other. They just couldn't do it, man. They just couldn't do it. They were equally good. It was fantastic. What a game. So much fun.
Dude, there's so much to talk about. I mean, literally, I mean, one thing we were talking about in the chat was just like, now this is a global championship star right here. I mean, it was just a wreck from the beginning. Teams were just going crazy. As a matter of fact, we saw some cool tech, right? We saw Osul. He was actually tanking that blue zone for a while. I bet you a lot of you guys were wondering why. That's because he had that backpack on, Max, right? That worked out good for him.
Yeah, I had that light bulb moment. I was like, wait, he's going to die. He was like, oh no, he's got the backpack that allows him to tank the blue zone. So actually, yeah, if you use that to your advantage, you can kind of trick some enemies and like, why is he not leaving the blue zone? Actually, he has the special backpack, so he can stay there for an extra maybe 30 seconds to a minute longer, depending on what kind of resources he has. So very good use of that utility. But if you're, I want to go on to another thing that was used in this game really efficiently by none other than Orangutan. Good emergency cover flares going down to APG. That was very well executed.
Right? Yeah, some really, really well-placed stuff. It made sure that APG were not able to use the angles afforded to them. And when you're in a compound for APG, you know, those angles are pretty limited. You're only limited by what the building can give, you know, enough cover for. So really, really nice for them to be able to block those angles. And so Orangutan, very nice scouting, or rather, like, what's the word? Gosh darn it, I'm gone. No, but like it's really, really nice for them to be able to block that and see that and be proactive with that. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah,
also
you know what, big
their position right, Nitro, because they were scouting the southern side, playing that road that I think you were quite keen about. You're very passionate, like, that's a good
I love
play.
that.
Wow.
It's a good one. Yeah, that particular position in the map has a massive ridge and then this great roadside, but that's also on a cliff. So that road is super protected from other angles unless you're on the other top of the other side of that hillside, other side of the valley, right? But for the most part, most angles you can't see there. So really nice use of those angles and being very aware of where the other teams are to use that effectively. I love that.
Yeah, you had OG right there on the top of that road. You had Goat about to get a little bit of trouble going on.
I think this is definitely way better than what we saw in the Gauntlet stage because they were playing in those fights closely, they were tightly packed, which is what I wanted to see. In the Gauntlet, unfortunately, they would go for these weird splits and just, it wouldn't quite work for them. They were playing a little bit too, trying to play too smart, and unfortunately in a lobby like this, sometimes you just got to shoot people in the face, Hot Troops. And here, it's what they did. Very happy with Orangutan, and hopefully they can do that in the other maps in particular. But I want to take the conversation here away from Orangutan because we kind of said a lot of great things about them, which is really good to do on the Rondo in particular. APG here, Niptura, in the center, pretty much phase 2, phase 3, everyone fighting, shooting over APG, and they're just big chilling the entire time and easily getting into the late game, right?
Right? Yeah, that was such a nice, I think, one of the best games that could have happened to them, right? After such, hey, actually, we're doing okay. This is fine. You know, it's not tough from the beginning. They've got something now to work on. They've got a foundation built that they can just start climbing from there. Because, yeah, the teamwork was really nice for them. You know, Doc with his nades. We finally saw a Doc nade come through. We were really missing that from him. And so it's really nice to see that maybe now we have just a better springboard for them.
But I do have a question now looking at APG. GS team, then this group, unfortunately for them, are we going to have a similar clash happening in military base? Is that going to keep going down? Because that was definitely hurtful.
Allen and Blade. Allen and Blade.
It is time for Erangel. We had a crazy close down from Falak in those final moments there for Inner Circle, and a lot of points earned for the teams now at the top of the tables, or at least for now, because there are plenty more matches left to play. 18 matches total in Group Green. To play 18 matches total in Group Green, and we will be in and on to the second of them right now.
For you, going forward. So I think for Inner Circle, this will be a very pleasing result for them. We did get to see some other teams performing extremely well, quite like OG's position on the south side. They're transiting in Kameshki right now. And Team Secret stopping over towards Box Compound. D Plus was a little bit disappointing in the last game. I think it's pretty much the same roster, but weren't able to hold out walls as comfortably as possible. Alter Ego currently playing off against Papra Supermassive. We're just waiting. Okay. We'll be here soon. Don't worry. APG getting 15 points. Pretty decent. Pretty decent indeed.
The same hot as they were before. It is plenty dangerous. Rosemary, look for the spray downs. We'll be able to find it, Snape, in the vehicle over the top. And we'll be able to crash on it.
And for Alter Ego, it was a very easy game for them last time around. I think that overall what they ran into was not the famous front flip, but was instead just a case of running out of gas. And they got third party so many times. There were quite a few teams over on that north side. The amount of teams who were able to come down was just significant.
Yeah, it's not always easy. It's not always easy. APG right now, fresh off a second place. We caught up with them on the stage.
Welcome back to a quick report with the 7WG. This time I'm joined by APG Doc. Doc, great start here to Group Green. What was the major change that you guys made from the Gauntlet to Group Green?
За Doc, өнөөдрийн тоглолтууд үнэхээр амжилттай эхэлж байна. Танай багийн хувьд Gauntlet stage-с Group Green рүү ямар хотоо өөрчлөлт гаргаж орж ирвэ?
манай Gauntlet дээр гаргасан алдаануудаа одоо хоорондоо сайн ярилцаад одоо алдаануудаа засаад ингэж орж ирсэн. Алдаануудаа ерөн сайн зассан.
For our team, from the Gauntlet stage, we discussed about the mistakes that happened during that time, and we tried to focus on how to fix that. And that was the change, Adele.
Hopefully we'll see less drops. One thing we did see in this last match, you guys were given the circle. You were able to take advantage, but I need to go into circle 6 because you guys were doing a 3-1 split and the docketing happening. Sir, you were...
From my perspective, I thought it was the advantageous point in that circle, and that's what made me to not want to go back. And I wanted to have my 3-player Overwatch over, and I thought we could come over from that, but it was my mistake from that end.
Well, regardless, I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to be happening. Hopefully less of the docketing happening. Thank you so much. Back to you guys.
Thanks for that little insight there into APG. We are hopefully going to see them do a little bit more over the course of this group green that we saw from them in the Gauntlet stages. They do need to repair what's going on because it's it wasn't great over in the Gauntlet. Hopefully they can keep this one going because they've started off well. It's just a question of keeping that momentum.
I think for Doc to admit wrongdoing is a pretty huge marker in the APG timeline. That doesn't happen very often, if at all, in fact. So great news for APG. And again, I think it comes back to what we were talking about in the Gauntlet. It felt much more like 4 very, very good players playing separately as opposed to 4 insane players playing together. So hopefully we'll see more of that here. I think that Gauntlet was always meant to be a bit of an ego check anyway. And I think that, if anything, this is very useful to APG going forward. And they get more practice. I actually think that APG is one of the few teams that actually more practice on a global stage is going to be useful to them, because I think they're so used to just dominating in their own region. This is a good place to re-humble themselves.
Wolves with Gen G around the corner, trying to find the best place to take the fight. You can see Batten off in the distance, maybe a little bit too slow to join the opener as Coops goes down and immediately is flushed. Finally, Batten able to stand up, find an off angle, and actually gets a flush in response. An answer is found, but they are clashing themselves with the Falcons. Moving over from that east side, you can see in the foothills of Everest, they're taking those shots up. And it is getting a bit mucky in the foothills of Everest on this northwest side circle. Seems to have calmed down slightly on the inside of this compound, though. I think Igor just wants to get out of here as safely as possible, but that might not be possible. Slams a reverse and an aid underneath him. Quick, able to detonate him from underneath. Sends him sky high, and that should be another flush coming through. Wolves most likely down to 2.
I think Wolves are struggling in a big way. We want, for them, this had to be top 3, but Group Green is unbelievably stacked in terms of players right now, John. I think the way the Wolves played in the Gauntlet, they were sort of scraping by towards that top 7. And it's not the case here. They need to put a little bit more work in. I think it's the most unfortunate thing for Wolves right now is I think they're struggling to win in the 4v4s. And that is very, very unhelpful towards your end of point scoring, because I think if you want to start earning those big points, you need to be able to win 1 or 2 4v4s during the match. The most crucial one being that 10 to 15 minutes big fight to get you into a stronger position in that late game.
Ooh, okay. We thought it was character growth, but maybe not. He's just taken a knock to himself, crashed into a buggy. I imagine he got a shot sent his way, and it was the final tick of damage that was from slamming into that rock. Buggy rolling back in a circle, wants to try and do it again, take down APG, but hang on a minute, who's that? Get out of there, Jafar. GS trying to rally on in. APG, they've already closed ranks. There's no way that he's getting away with that one. GS maybe want to continue this against in a circle, but they've actually found the opener to IQ. South chip too.
Jafar was like some kind of tourist in that situation. Like, hi guys, wait, so sorry, I didn't mean to be here. I apologize. But yeah, big shift on the circle. They're down towards that south side. Currently favors towards Tiamba reject side. Currently favors towards Tiamba reject. The 2 players from Wolves, I guess, but Tiamba currently taking a lot of damage. Goodness me, Bond, you are lucky on that one. But Tiamba now down to just 1 player in Milu across the way, and he goes down shortly afterwards. Has not been great for Tiamba, honestly.
No, certainly not this match. Go able to take a really important position and stay alive as 4 blank. That's a really big boon for them. The question is, can they hold it? Because right now they're fairly split. They're 3-1. And the Falcons, they're already poking their noses in. Navallo looking to try and scout, and somehow he's evading all of those spray downs. The vehicle must be eating a lot of damage on that one, so you imagine the bonnet is smoking.
Varanik not able to quite hit those shots. I mean, for Falcons starting at Pachinki is actually a really good result for them, especially with the circle the way it was. I think they were sort of worried about this one heading towards that north side, in which case that would have been a difficult rotate. But heading just over towards the west of them here, it's a nice, easy, clean rotate over towards that western side, out looking on the fields.
9Z on the north side, trying to rotate over that Yaz bridge, and actually decided to go north of the river rather than approach from the south side, which is an interesting choice now. Maybe looking for a wide wrap, or are they going to try and send through Osaka? I'm not too sure what 9Z's plan here is. I mean, APG, they're looking to cut across and go back the way that 9Z just came from.
It's not easy. You got IC behind you as well right now for APG, who are tailing. Like you say, you got 9Z as well in front. I think at this point in time, this is not a terrible decision coming through from APG, just to kind of take a pit stop here, rest and wait it out. It's almost hilarious how open the northwest side of this circle is. No one's really going for it. I do think for APG, it would not be a bad idea to just pass over Box Compound Bridge there, down towards the south side of Ruins, pick up one of the compounds on that side. Instead, they're going to try and go over Rozhok Bridge, make it work that way. Everyone's got the same idea, though.
It is going to be a tough approach on that northeast side. I mean, 9Z, they went back across the river. Moving now past school, you can see them trying to find their way in. Stage 2 still survivable as the circle. Stage 3 hurts a little bit more. It's a hard west shift. Blank, this is good for Team Secret out on that west edge. You've got Gen G as well in that central area. Loops might have a really good time getting to a very important compound set if they can move fast enough.
For Team Secret, I would say for Team Secret, the options are a little bit limited, honestly. For them, they have to move through a lot of open ground, and most of the most prominent positions are already picked up. For D+, they sort of go for something that I wanted APG to go for, which is one of those free compounds on that north side. No one's really playing around the area, so it's a ton of really useful ground to hold.
It's a lot of open area in these Gaka fields. Inner circle. They were behind APG. They're now moving more down the eastern side, still in the blue zone, looking to try and heal through this one a little bit more, prop themselves up on that front. Gen G moving over to some of these compounds. GS as well. Everybody looking to just find anything that can keep them safe in this next zone, scouting out where the best place to do that is.
I mean, for GS, this is like one of the few options left remaining. Is the Wizard Tower on the southwest side. It is not going to help them in the long run, but you got to go for something. Go will pick out Doc from the vehicle. Was straggling slightly behind the rest of the squad, so unfortunately was the target. But for APG, getting towards Chopsticks as a 3-man from the position they were in, this is not a terrible result for them. I think they would have much rather have made here as a 4, because holding this is a little bit difficult when you start to lose members. But again, this is the type of position that could keep you alive for quite a while.
I think with Goats in the position that they are, just out to the northeast of that Chopstick, they do have a lot of control over the ridge line that sits to the north of that Chopstick bunker, which is the major danger for teams holding in that area, right? But if you've got a team playing in the position that Goat is, that ridge line to the north becomes very, very tricky to play. It's in later circles where it starts to come back to bite you, but APG have at least 3 circles left in that spot, I think fairly securely, unless there's a mad crash onto their position. 9Z, they move down all the way. They've gone for a wide, wide swing on the south of the circle flank. They've moved from that northeast side near Yasnaya. We saw them going back and forth with APG, and now they're on the southwest of the entire thing. They're going to be entering from that west edge.
Yeah, I don't think I'm a huge fan of this play. It looks funky, it looks flashy, but I don't think it's massively useful to them, because I don't know what their game plan is over the next 5 minutes, if that makes sense. Like, where do they go from here? You want to wrap through the fields? You want to take North Compound? Maybe that works, but I mean, now it definitely works. Now it definitely works.
Alter Ego are going to get there first. Surely Alter Ego make it to that compound before 9Z, with GS hounding them a little bit as well. I mean, where do you go? It looks like they're turning around, maybe? That's a bit of confusion for 9Z. I think that's safe to say from everything we've seen from them so far. They don't quite know what they're trying to go for. A rotate for the Falcons. Okay, sending out straight into the open. This is through everybody in the open Gakka field. And Redox is the punishment that they will be spotted, sprayed down. But the rest of them, are they? No way. 3 of them make it to across the way, and Loop's not going to hold them on the approach. And with 3 players, they can play this split. They can play this north side, not safely, but a little bit more safely than going in a mad dash out the open with 7 teams looking your way.
It is so amusing me right now that South Everest compound's still not taken. I think the assumption from all teams that this is absolutely got players in it. But literally everyone on that north side made the wrap through Rozok, which is very confusing to me. And again, this is one of the situations with APG where, in my mind, it's so funny that no one knows this is free.
It is absolutely crazy, right? OG as well, they moved in from that northeast side. They actually decided to crash onto this compound instead of going further and going to this next one. The fact that the last player from Wolves might be the only one in that compound is going to get a little bit crazy, because Doran is a little bit close to it right now. OG lost a player on the approach. That was to Rosemary on the off angle. Oh no, maybe GS are going to be able to take it as they crash on into the tree. Doran does fall down. They're going to go across the road, though. You just don't think they're going to do it.
No, I think they're scared.
This is nuts.
They're scared. Again, there's no one in these buildings. GS thinks there's oversight from that position. Now IC also thinks there's oversight from that position. What? There's no one there. There is no one there. This is a classic international lobby of assumption that everyone else is good, right? And everyone else is probably taking the strong spots. This wouldn't happen.
Oh, the nade doesn't connect. A pump action around the side. One shot's all it takes. Chips goes wide again, but it's going to come in through the window there. It's Rosemary who's able to shut down that fight. And now Alter Ego, they're taking